I will talk about some best practices that we have compiled for lenders to not just avoid losses, but to use this as an opportunity to serve their customers better and then grow their portfolio. So let's talk about what banks should do as they look forward past the pandemic. There's a framework put together by Accenture on how to respond to the crisis. And I'm going to focus on a couple areas really important to lending and customer service. First of the three areas is credit management. Next, you look at revenue compression. Finally, you look at customer service. Let's focus on each area one at a time. First, with credit management, a very important thing is to focus on modification and extension. Do expect losses to come up. The losses, they're not going to be uniform, but delinquencies are going to increase. And they'll increase in specific areas like restaurants and retail. And some of the ways to look at how to cope with this is to potentially consider changing cash flow lending into asset-based lending. So maybe look for more collateral, maybe look for a commercial mortgage arrangement for a family restaurant that has been on the same property for generations. All right, so looking more deeply at credit management, here's a checklist for applying how to respond to the coronavirus crisis and beyond, specifically looking in the area of credit management. You want to proactively monitor the credit condition for individual customers. And ideally, you have automation systems to do it. So some of the ways that our companies have been helping in this area is to provide automation systems and are using our platform that allows banks to automatically monitor the financials for some customers, perhaps even small customers that typically don't have a annual or frequent check in place. Well, next, let's think about credit management policies. And these policies, they don't really have to be perfect upfront. So as you work through loan modifications as they come up, you can gradually refine the policies, and over time, you can make the policies more formal and more prescriptive. Next is to set up information systems to really model delinquency impacts beyond payment holidays. So you want to understand how the impacts are different between different industries and sectors, and figure out how to mitigate the credit impacts really carefully. Then you probably also want to be creative with helping business customers figure out how they bridge their income. And maybe find ways to pull revenue forward. So some of the ways that we've seen are, for example, using gift cards or using vouchers to pull the revenue forward as a way to bridge the cash flow gap. And then last but not least, you do want to look at government support loan programs. We do expect more government programs to come. And of course, long term, as you help your customers navigate through this, it really help with customer loyalties as well. The next area we want to look at is revenue compression. So one lesson from the last financial crisis is that low rates, they can stay low for a very long time. Your net interest margin, they're going to be compressed. And I know that in recent past, a lot of banks have been able to bridge this gap by getting a lot of mortgages for new purchase and refinancing. So mortgages, it has been a temporary bright spot for some banks, especially the banks that are outside urban centers. As buyers, they move from cities to suburban areas or countryside, it really helps with the mortgage demands. Nonetheless, you still do need to factor in lower profitability going forward during this period. So thinking about margin compression and revenue compression is going to be pretty important. The last area we want to look at for bank response is customer service. There has been a big acceleration to go digital. So especially outside urban areas, a lot of bankers, they think customers, they don't use digital tools. And this has been changed pretty dramatically in the last 8 months as customers, many of them have no choice and they're not going into the branches. So they have been starting to pick up, and we see some examples of this in our customer base. This is also an opportunity for you to start using digital marketing, using apps and digital portals. So these are ways you can really bring your banking digital. And then you want to take the time to create the personal connection and advice. A lot of customers, they are seeing big changes in their business, in their sales, in their entire business model. So when they do come into the branch, when they do call in, they are really looking for guidance there. So diving deeper, here's a checklist for customer service. First, you want to look at digital lending as a priority. So this is a once-in-a-generation dislocation. And your customers, they are open to changing behavior. The financial institutions that don't keep up with the change, they're going to get left behind by fintechs and by banks that do make this change. Next, thinking about online portals. So having an online portal doesn't mean you get a bunch of customers from across the country apply to your loans that you've never talked to before. A lot of times, these are actually your existing customers, but now they have an additional channel, additional avenue for connecting with you. And maybe they even give you a call before they apply online, but this just makes their customer experience and the application experience much more streamlined. Next, digital marketing is another way to connect with customers during this time. So you can do digital marketing and you can focus your digital marketing efforts, again, locally in your footprint, but connecting with them via email, via text messages, and even banner ads and really localized online advertisements. There are many ways that you can connect with your customers. Another area to look at is mobile banking and online portals. So are there gaps in these services? Now is the time to really make the change. You can add functionalities and really fill in the gaps for services that perhaps your customers want to have, but they are not currently on your portal and mobile app. Next, and this might seem paradoxical, but consider turning off your phone trees. When your customer call in, have them hear a live human on the phone. And at a time like this is more important than ever. And it really helps you create a connection and can reassure customers. Another way you can connect with your customers is to really act as their trusted advisors. This is a little cliche, but for many small business customers, this is important because they are not finance people. They might not know options that are available to them to bridge cash flow gaps. And they might not know avenues that would allow them to keep their business afloat. So by really stepping in and looking at their business with them, this is a time to build a bridge and to build a connection to your customers, and they're going to remember this. So I really think this is a time of change in banking, and I hope your bank can use this crisis as an opportunity to upgrade your business and to better serve your customers and your communities.